everybody? What's going on? Rob Cesternino back with you to talk about the penultimate episode of Dondi Season 2. And we've got a lot to break down. I've got two people here. Hopefully, they're going to tell me what I need to know about what's in the case and how to get across this body of water. First, to tell me what's in the case, it's Chappell.
Hey, Rob, we're in the case. Congratulations, you win. You know, we made it. We made it to the penultimate episode.
You're not messing with me, right?
No, I'm definitely in the case.
You give it to me straight?
I promise you, I'm in the case. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about this episode. We actually kind of got a jury thing, and that is unexpected. Yeah. So let's talk about it.
So, yeah, big new twist here in Dondi Season 2, and we will break it down here with the woman who will tell me how to get across the body of water. It's Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
Rob, I'm good. And
how do I do this?
Well, I don't know if I can tell you how to do it, but a wise woman said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And I don't know. That might be what we're doing tonight. We might be winning some stupid prizes.
Yeah. Well, somebody's about to win a big prize next week, and we will find out the identity of that person. It will either be David or Letty, as we saw not one but two people eliminated from Deal or No Deal Island tonight, as Parvati Shallow ends up making a bad deal, has the survivor curse, the fourth place spot once again, just like Boston Rob. And then CK ends up with the slowest time, and she goes out in third place, setting up a cliffhanger of what did really it all comes down to, did Philip, was he on the level with David?
Ooh, this is an old nasty cliffhanger. I don't like this one at all, because on the one hand, I'm like, David, you're so close. You can do this. You and Philip had a good relationship. On the other hand, I'm like, man, that last episode was tough. The last episode was not great. Oh, God. What
all right, well, we'll break
he
all
literally
that
eliminated
down.
him. So
we're going to have exit interviews as well. We're going to talk with both Parvati and CK, and you can hear that, of course, in the podcast feed. We know Dondi.com. And, of course, if you're watching us here on YouTube, we love to get your comments about everything that you saw in the episode and on the podcast tonight, as we have a lot to talk through, as we had a huge night, I felt like, in terms of a big format change on Deal or No Deal Island in terms of this final competition. For people who watched Deal or No Deal Island Season 1, the way it went was that there was a Final Four challenge. In the Final Four challenge, we eliminated two people to ultimately get down to a Final Two challenge that was part of the finale. Instead, here we have Parvati playing in Deal or No Deal at the Final Four, ends up making the bad deal, and then the final three take part in one challenge to eliminate both the third place and ultimately the second place person, and one person will move on to win. So a really big format change that also involves all of the former players from a certain point in the game. I mean, we didn't realize that the jury had started on Deal or No Deal Island with Seychelles, but it did.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't have a plan for enough stations to involve everyone. But I do feel like Seychelles is a turning point in the game. So even though there isn't an official
justice for Maria
jury,
Grace.
I know, but I'm saying things really started to heat up at that Seychelles elimination. So I think she makes sense as the jury forewoman.
So a lot of parts of this to talk through, and I think that just for me, the thing that really stands out, and we could talk through, Parvati's elimination and CK, but, this big format change is the biggest question that's on my mind. First off, I loved it as far as the television goes. I thought it was really one of the most fun things I've seen on reality television in a while, the way that everybody came back. And I don't really remember a time that we have had this type of exact set up in the final challenge where people are able to sabotage people based on how they played the game. Parvati had, it's similar to Parvati must have felt like to the final tribal council.
Yeah, because your social interactions throughout the season come back to haunt you or maybe to help you later on in this iteration. I think in season 1 we were kind of speculating like, how does this not end in a jury vote? And we were wrong, right? They didn't do a jury vote. We were like, oh, okay, well, that's cool, that's different. This still isn't a jury vote, but it might as well be, because the jury gets to have a direct hand in your success. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can try to do it without them, but it'd be very difficult considering your time matters and the amount that you have in your briefcases matter this round. And so we got the faces of a lot of scorned individuals and got to see how they decided to help or hinder the players that were left.
There's reasons I love it, and there's reasons I don't love it as a concept for, like, depending on what the future of the show looks like. We can get into that. But Rob, didn't Claim to Fame do something similar? I feel like Claim to Fame brought people back that kind of were able to medal in the final challenges.
Yeah. Well, I was actually going to say, I think, like, going back a ways to The Apprentice. I don't know if the reality TV canon is there, but in The Apprentice, it used to be the final 2 people would each have a task, and they would pick 2 people to be on their team. And they might have picked somebody who's trying to sabotage them to ultimately make them not do good if you pick somebody who maybe didn't want you to win. And in Claim to Fame,
Top Chef, I think, does it too.
Yeah, on Claim to Fame, they definitely brought people back into the house and who might be able to have, like, helped certain people with, like, solving the pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
I don't remember if there's a element to them being, like, part of that person's team, but they definitely, like, were able to put their thumb on the scale.
I feel like in season 3 that we just had last summer, Chappell, are you remembering this? They were part of the final challenge, I think, last season. So
I hated it so much. I hated it so much in Claim to Fame. I hate it every time they do it in Claim to Fame, because what happens is they come and they have the option to be like, hey, I know exactly who this person is, and that's who it is. And a lot of them just team up and say, like, yes, we are going to tell you who this person is. And then they know it. There's no suspense to it, where you do have the option for somebody like, I want to say even the first season, was his name Pooch or something like that. He like Zendaya's cousin. He like comes in and he's like, Zendaya's cousin's like, yeah, I'm trying to sabotage you, so I'm gonna give you the wrong answer. You know, so they had the way to do this same kind of, like, you know, maneuvering. Maybe it was Pooh. I don't remember that man's name.
Yeah.
Hop. I don't know. But anyway, I think
I know what you're talking about. I cannot remember his name.
I think his real name was Michael. But regardless, they came in, they were there, they had the option to help or hinder. Whereas, like, in Top Chef, these are actual trained, trained cooks and chefs. They're not coming in to, like, come in and sabotage people. A lot of times,
hair in the lasagna.
They're gonna do their best work. Whereas this is like, hey, if I don't like you, I could just lead you to believe that I'm helping you, and I don't. So I think it is a little bit closer to Claim to Fame.
Yeah. So I think that this was really interesting for me, because I feel like that as the show went along, you know, Deal or No Deal Island to me is a show about, hey, it's about, you know, you play the banker, and you play the banker so that you want to take out your biggest competition. That I did not realize that the social game, I knew the social game was important in terms of, like, hey, I don't want to piss people off so that they take me out in the game. But we saw some really brutal blindsides in the banker's temple. And I don't know if the players knew that those type of big moves were going to come back to bite them, because that was not a part of Deal or No Deal Island season 1.
Rob, I say this almost every episode. Remember the premiere? Joe said, everything you think you learned from the first season, throw it away. The rules have changed. So they can't, you know, say that they weren't warned. So, you know, if you studied the blueprint of Don D1, you can maybe think certain elements might be a part of the game, but ultimately you have to go into this expecting the unexpected, not to quote Big Brother. I'm sure Will would love that. So I mean, it's good that they did something different. They were warned. Yeah,
and it was great to watch. I loved it. It was super, super fun. Here's my question of, is this a concern that in future seasons, that is it possible CK won't blindside Seychelles? Like, it worked out fine for David with Dr. Will, but, you know, is there, like, a thought of, like, hey, I can't totally scumbag somebody at the temple because I'm going to see them down the road, and they may hold the information that prevents me from playing the banker in the final challenge.
I mean, you could think that if you want, but all Joe has to do is start the next season and be like, it's not like it was last season, and that'll throw
Just kidding,
enough.
it is.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't know, right? And then
Yeah.
and then to your point, Rob, we've been saying this since the first season of Survivor, since we started this whole format, that the jury is impacted by what you do, and they can vote however they want or whatever. And these people still ain't mastered the social game part, okay?
Mhm.
They still have not figured out
Yeah.
how to navigate that. I'm not afraid of this happening because, again, people will do that. And then instead of saying, like, I won't screw people over, what I'll do is I'll take people with me who also screw people over. So you're more likely to get like a CK and like an Amy or something like that in the same, from two different seasons, obviously, but two people who are looked at as kind of like they play more cutthroat games. They're probably looking at each other like, nah, it got to be us two together, as opposed to me sitting next to somebody like a David or, or Philip, who is more well-liked.
And it's like, I can scumbag somebody, but I feel like if I do it too much, I
Yeah.
can't scumbag everybody. And, I feel like I didn't mind it as much as when I'm looking at like, okay, that somebody knows what's in the case. And now I have to read, because that's always been part of the show of like having to read people. I know what's in the case. Do you know what I know? You're trying to like play mind games. But if Dr. Will could stand there and throw all of my planks into the ocean, I'll lose the game. That he could have thrown all my planks in the water and I won't be able to overcome that over pissing off one wrong person.
I just want to take us back to, sorry, Jenny, but I just need to take us back to a past season of Survivor recently where we have this final episode, this final challenge where somebody goes and helps somebody win the last challenge by going and looking at their plank. Their plank, and I stood against it then and I'll stand against it now. This is not fair. You should not be able to touch other people's stuff. But this is the game that we have this time. So you're right. I think it's a very slippery slope. What is it going to take for next time they have to throw one of those little rope balls or whatever? Say she'll just isn't like rip it in half and just throw it in like, whoop, guess you can't get across the bridge. There has to be a line drawn, but since this is the first time and a little bit because this is Dr. Will, I think I'll let it slide. But yeah, I think you have to put boundaries.
Screw up David. Like David, his time was fine. His time was the fastest still, no big deal.
Which is probably why Dr. Will is willing to do it, right? Because David can jump out there, get it, and come back really quickly. I mean, because when Dr. Will had the opportunity to sabotage his favorite player in the game, CK, he does, and then he's like, all right, I'll stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think he just was. It was negging. I think it was.
Yeah, my thought is just that will this make people even less likely to want to face the banker in future seasons because it's like, oh, now and then I have to get the blood on my hands also, where I felt like a little bit that it was like, hey, I kind of want the blood on my hands. I want to be the person who's picking who goes home because I'm really controlling a lot of what's going on. But now there's like this added element of that you're also really potentially pissing off somebody who's going to be maybe holding your life in their hands at some point.
I think the game is based on a certain level of calculated risk, right? And a little bit of randomness. So I think that in some ways this format and the ways that it could impact you really like badly or not so much, that plays into some of the like the luck and the randomness side that the game is kind of built on. So it's like if you aren't a fan of that piece of it, then you're probably gonna take issue with that because you might really scumbag someone and they might end up in a situation where like they can't really screw you that badly. Like, because
it's like, I've got the monkey's paw from here, Seychelles.
Yeah. Well, some of the stations that they had, like, again, and if you can read them and you think that they're just like, they're trying to mislead you, then like you still have some power. You're just trying to decide what you think that they're trying to do. But like, for example, if they're at the station where they're just like supposed to help you throw the little like,
monkey's paw.
Is that what it is called?
Monkey's fist. Monkey's fist.
Monkey's fist.
Okay. Okay, monkey's fist. Like if that's
Yeah.
all that they're able to do, like them helping you, they might not even be able to help you, even if they
Yeah.
tried. So
And maybe it's like that Dr. Will kind of broke the game when he started throwing David's planks into the water. Because I feel like if not for that, if it's just like if Dr. Will's like, hey, I'm just not going to help you, like Seychelles, like, oh, my back is tightening up. It's like, okay, whatever. But like if somebody could really just sabotage you, where basically you lose the game if somebody wants to sabotage you bad enough, that's the part about it that gives me some pause.
A monkey
Or
paw.
fists. Yeah.
I guarantee you production was like, God damn it, Will, when he did that, because they weren't expecting him to do that. But leave it to Dr. Will to kind of toe and then cross some lines. You know, it's like, yeah, y'all can hinder them, but only to an extent. And Will's like, okay,
Yeah, maybe we
so
need to just reel that in.
Right, exactly. And look, if it wasn't Dr. Will, it probably wouldn't have happened. But because it's Dr. Will, these people have been trying to hurt this cat all season.
What's to stop Philip from taking the 3 suitcases and throwing them all in the water?
Yeah,
it's Philip and not Dr. Will.
Like, for sure.
I bet they negotiated. I bet that Will was like, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to say I'm going to help him, and I want to throw all of his planks one by one into the water. And then they probably said, Will, you can do one plank. Because I think he only did the final plank just as a gotcha. So I don't think
David
ultimately
still had the fastest time, right?
Yeah, David, you know, he knows what he's doing. But here's my issue with it. Going forward, if they were to do this again, if they keep this same sort of twist, having eliminated players come in at the end and they can help or hinder your success in becoming the ultimate banker's opponent or whatever they call it. But they also keep this casting format / twist that we've seen for 2 seasons now, where first time reality TV participants and a couple of 1 to 3 reality TV legends being brought on. I worry about it not even mattering if you scumbagged somebody and it becoming this conversation of people are going to band together to make sure that the person who has had their moment in the sun does not get to get that again, because we're dealing with a lot of money here. And I think that, there's this sentiment of like, imagine Parvati up there being like, because they don't know necessarily what David's got going on. And as we discussed,
but what if it's somebody who's never won a reality show before?
They're just on there, like a person who came in 3rd place and maybe
maybe if it's someone who came
and that was like a long time ago,
many years ago,
and that money's all gone.
Who's like a lowly journalist
and
now,
they just have like a regular job now, and like
small business owner, right?
Yeah, and that is a different story. But I care about those people too, and they can twist it however they want. They can say, well, they've had their moment. They probably made money from this. So I don't know. That's where I'm kind of like, because you see how they talked about Parvati being like, oh, we're not like rewarding her again on TV. You don't become a millionaire on TV twice or whatever. So I just worry about that piece of the otherness part where they're like, we're like, we got to band together and get these reality TV people out of here. And then like, that's a little too much power at the end. If one of those
in
people
fairness,
is still there.
that these people could have done that at any point during the season and they failed to do so. So they can say it. But if
David, they were safe the entire time.
Right. But if David, Parvati, and CK get to the end, like, what are they going to do? They're not going to help CK win?
Right, they're not gonna help CK win. That's not happening.
I think that's a David dub right there.
That's a wrap. But that's but we've had these debates in like other games too. Big Brother, we've seen it where there's seasons where they're like, no, you cannot win again, Dan Giesling. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. And there are the seasons of Survivor where it's like, damn, you would think you wouldn't let this person make it so far, but I guess you're going to. If it's their 4th time playing, their wife's won. Why are you still doing this again? So we've been having these debates, but I love that we're having them here in Dondi now. Dondi is becoming one of the robust reality games that we have. Like, it's becoming almost like a combination of all the other games combined, and then Deal or No Deal on top of it.
I want it to be a part of it though. Like I do want the other people and the people you've eliminated, especially because it's such a savage elimination format in Dondi. Like, yes, you can get eliminated by making a bad deal yourself, but to make a good deal and just point at someone and be like, bye, like single vote, Cedric style, to take somebody out of the game, like that's a lot. So to have those people come back, it's interesting. I think I would not want to see it stifle the drama. And I think that it maybe just needs to become like calculated risk, knowing the kind of person you're eliminating and how you go about it, and whether that is worth the risk of them potentially having some power to screw you later on. It's like, that's a tomorrow person, problem. I that's what I would hope, that it wouldn't stifle it, but it is a consideration because they were definitely not accounting for this, I think.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be super dramatic. I just wonder if that people would be less inclined to go back on their word of who they said they're going to eliminate, because I feel like that the people that said like, hey, I was gunning for you, you were gunning for me, game respects game, I feel like that those people got over it. But it was the people, it was like, you said I was good, you flipped it around at the last second, and I didn't appreciate, and those were like the best moments of the show.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen. It's still gonna happen because if you don't do that kind of stuff, then you end up at the end with people you can't beat. And so it's like at some point you're gonna have to start doing the cutthroat thing. Especially with this season, they were doing the things where they were making so many people just invulnerable to going home anyway. They're like, the 8 of you are fine. It's down to the 3 of you. It's like, damn, I don't have no choice but to betray you. My bad. Now let's see if I can social game this to where you don't hate me at the end. I'm down for it. Keep the party going.
Yeah. Oh, let's go back to
His name was Cub, not Pooch. Cub.
I knew it would come eventually.
From Claim to Fame season 1.
I did it.
I'm so proud of you.
I was getting my bread by the time.
Let's go back to the beginning of the show and talk about Parvati playing Deal or No Deal. I don't remember. Was it in the cliffhanger that Parvati was going to be selected by David, or we didn't even know that?
No,
we didn't even know who he was going to pick, but it felt pretty telegraphed because she
felt pretty strong.
Needed to happen. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Parvati's going to play her first game of Deal or No Deal Island, or Deal or No Deal of the season, and she comes up there. She's feeling pretty good. She's matching Ben and Kamari.
Yeah, style. She said she was dressed to play the banker, and I think she was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Parvati picks case number 5, and right off the bat gets 2 low value cases, 2 high value cases. The banker offers $150,000. I feel like that first offer, they just like really lowball you. They don't.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, like we're here to play.
Like it's in the middle, but it's like so much closer to the bottom amounts that it's like, oh, it's a 50-50. And I'm like, but it's a terrible deal, like just in terms of money. So like, I don't think anyone's ever taking the first deal.
Okay. So Parvati then knocks off 3 low value cases and 1 high value case. And the offer goes way up to $925,000, but her odds go way down. She's got only a 25% chance of making a good deal at this point.
Yeah, 925 is so much better than what she had at first, though. Dear God, this is like, I was like, whew, okay, we're talking about money now. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Parvati, no deal once again. And then she knocks off the 2.5 million, then is like, okay, it takes like the top part of her, Jenny. I don't even know what to call these clothes.
What Parvati was wearing? Oh, she was wearing it was like a jacket or like a shawl type thing. It was like a shrug, even you might call it.
Well, she
but
shrugged
way cooler
it off.
than like
right.
Yeah.
And
look, here's the thing. It was like, I think it was like a light material, but I think it was probably sticking to her. Listen, I understand the stress, the heat, like. My body's getting hot just thinking about it.
Okay, well,
it is sticky. She
knocked off 2 of the high value cases and got the offer down to $500,001. The banker has a sense of humor, but not for anything, banker. You made it so that we didn't have $1.
Yeah.
But the specter of Luke is still out there. He hung over the whole season.
The options right now are $100, $1 million, and then the deal in the middle, which is $500,001.
And so
Yeah.
this is where I will say that I think that Parvati, well, obviously she made the wrong deal, but this is something that, and I know it's worked out for people this season, but I kind of feel like you picked your case, you came with it. If it's a 50-50 deal, just keep
Ride
the
it out.
case you have. You came,
Yeah.
you know, there's an old saying, dance with the girl you brought. I think something like that.
Did you say that
Yeah.
in the first episode too? I feel like I'm having like a deja
Yeah.
vu. Or
No,
maybe
this
you
is,
just say
this
this
is
a
one of
lot.
Rob's
This is-
mantras for Deal or No
Okay.
Deal. No, it's
Yeah, I
okay.
feel like,
thing.
hey, look,
Write it
I
out.
feel like I'm feeling case 5. Okay, you were feeling case 5. Don't give it back at the end. Unless you
Yeah.
have like great odds, 66%, 75%. If it's
Is it-
50-50, I started with 5. I'm going to keep 5.
But is it one of those things where like once you've eliminated like quite a few of the really big case numbers, which Parvati had at this point, like she had one of the right side cases,
Mhm.
but it was like one of the like lower ones. Is it one of those things where it's like if one of or the biggest case is still on the board, that's when you're more likely to be like, I might have the biggest number in my case, so I'm going to commit to that. And then if you've seen like a lot of those big case numbers go away, the confidence in the whatever reasoning, and we don't hear why Parv picks 5. She says it rhymes with staying alive. It also rhymes with didn't survive. So it's like I don't like you're just trust me, it hurt me to say it and think it.
Put it in the Dondoff.
But like if you're just working with like the lowest of the high numbers, you're not feeling that passionate about this number anymore. You know what I mean? Especially if it's not something where you feel super strongly where like, oh, 5 is a really, really important number. I think for some people, they truly feel like a connection to a number. And I think for some people, they're like, I picked a number and I was hoping it was the biggest case. It clearly was not. So now I'm just gonna, pivot my strategy here.
I think that the specter of Luke did hang over the players this season because the specter of Luke was that what did he do? That he didn't take the deal. And even though I think he had 66% at one point, he didn't take the deal, and it turned out that he had the $1 case. So it's like, okay, well, if I have the $100, I'm only going to add $100 to the pot. But to that I say, who cares? It's not your money anyway. You're not
and it's a
playing
lot of
the
money
banker.
anyway. Still.
What do you care if you add only $100 to the pot?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know. It's really hard to say. Luke haunts them. Just she's like, I'm gonna go out like Luke, and it's gonna be $100 in my case.
There's no science to this, but I think that when I make a decision like this, I say like, what could I, like the rest of my life, could I sleep with and go to bed, phrasing, okay? How do I sleep at night? And I feel like if I switch cases and I'm wrong, or I take the deal and I'm wrong, and I had the good case, I'm going to have a hard time sleeping, as opposed to then I just stuck with what I had. Like, okay, that was what I said I was going to do, and I can live with that.
Yeah, this was hard to watch too, because when they're interviewing Parvati, we see her crying, and I'm like, oh, that's the after interview. That's the interview.
I know.
I was like, oh, she lost.
I was like, oh, that doesn't seem. I'm like, well, first of all, I know how these shows are made. I know that they're doing all of these interviews after the thing has happened anyway. But like, but there was something about that clip where she was talking about like being away from her daughter. I was like, it's like. I already felt like it was happening. I think I said last week that I sadly felt like Parvati was not going to be our winner. So I was already prepared emotionally, but when I saw that clip, I was like, oh no, it's definitely over. Like the way. So yeah, it just felt like a different emotion. It was like it's already happened. So
Parv takes the deal, and then. We see her open the case after a commercial break, and it turns out she had the $1 million.
Former Survivor winner having $1 million. It makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that brings the total up to $10,232,001. That's a crazy, crazy amount of money. Like Joe was not lying at the beginning of the season where he said this was going to be a wild amount of money to give away. I can't think of another show where you can get $10 million on it in one go.
Well, check Amazon Prime.
Yeah. That show you have to sell your soul for that. Okay, that's different. I am terrified of anybody who is
but
going
what is
on
this
that
number,
show or
Chappell?
survived it.
This is give us that number one more time.
I think it's $10,232,001.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You won't find another show that has that.
Yeah, you know, Mr.
exactly
Beast though,
that.
he did do the things. He did the things for sure. And then we don't know. Honestly, we don't know if the pie spot is done going up. You know, I think in these challenges they do get cases, and I think they're probably going to get added to some type of board too, maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the winner of between Letty and David, whether the collective amount of their cases get put up, or maybe even the ones
get higher.
Yeah,
maybe even the ones from CK as well. I don't know, like all 3 of their 9 cases. I don't know. I don't really know. But yeah, it is that we don't know for sure that that's the final total amount.
Yeah. I feel like that in Deal or No Deal Island, that the cases that they win, like I think that those will be on the board, but they will not be added to the prize pot. I'm not sure if we're going to see more money added to the prize. Maybe the banker might say like, oh, I threw in some other like blah, blah,
some
blah.
high amounts, some low amounts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the prize amount can only be contributed by through the playing of
taking
Deal
a
or
deal.
No Deal.
Yeah.
And if there's no more of that, then we're done. Yeah.
Let's just talk about big picture, Parvati, her legacy. How is it altered by her stay here on the banker's private island? What did we learn about Parvati?
She's mother. We already knew, but she was the mother of the family.
She really was. Yeah.
But here she, for the first time in her reality TV playing career, she is literally mother.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mother, she's wife. She's, you know.
And this is a role that we do not see her. She's always sort of like maybe cool older sister on Survivor, and that's sort of the role that she plays. But she is not a parenting figure to another person on Survivor.
Yeah.
It's true.
Except now. You know, I think that Dondi did a lot for, and it's crazy to say that because they're already legends in their own right. But I think that Dondi for Boston Rob and Parvati is just like, you know, put it in their highlight reel. You know, Parvati going 9 eliminations without even having to touch and talk to the banker at all. Like that's crazy. And then Boston Rob, the things he was able to do the first season where the back is against the wall, essentially episode 1, and just gets all the way down to the final 4 too. If anything, Dondi's almost like a victory lap for some of these Survivor players that we've had. I mean, you know, I don't know. These Survivor players just seemingly do so well. I wonder which Survivor players could we convince to come on Dondi next? Anybody that you might know that Joe would be happy to hear, would be interested in?
I'm like, I don't know, when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, maybe we think about like third placers, like, you know, someone that hasn't played it for a little bit, and it's just like not front of mind, like bam, I'm here to take your cases.
They wouldn't have Johnny Fairplay. The winner would have, you know. It'll be Rob and Johnny Fairplay together.
Oh my god, I would. I'm me acting like I wouldn't be watching it anyway, but I would watch that. I would.
Oh my god.
No, but I agree though that you know, these runs for, you know, people that have already made a massive name for themselves, it's still impressive. And say what you want to say about Parvati, where it's like, oh, she was like never vulnerable, so how can you say that like she played that? I don't know if people are saying this. I don't know who I'm speaking to right now. I'm sure I'm saying it to somebody. Somebody feels this way, but I'm like, it's a part of the game.
It is.
If you can win challenges or have relationships with people that are helping you win challenges, if you are manipulating the format of the game in your favor to keep yourself safe, if you are assessing the fact that like your safest position in the game is to not be vulnerable, that's part of the game, and that all counts. You know, just play with the hand that you're given, and I think that Parvati deserves a ton of respect for the game that she played. To come with that reputation, to be playing with David, who no one but her and Will, to some degree, knows that he, you know what his story is, and to go this far is completely impressive. And I'm just saying, like, we said it in the preseason, get her in the bikini, get her on the beach, get her in the heat. That's where she cooks.
She's back, baby.
She's back, and I think this was a very, very impressive run for Parvati. And literally, it all comes down to a 50-50 shot. Wild, you know?
Yeah.
Is there anything that she could have done differently along the way that changes this outcome?
She should have said, deal.
Yeah, other than that,
925K.
other than outplaying the banker here.
Yeah.
Saying, like,
You
you know,
outplay the banker.
yeah. Well,
CK, that last challenge with her and CK, where CK drops her arm, that's the one where she really messed that one up. Like, you have to commit to that way. Immediately go get that, and then be like, CK, do not drop your arm. I hope that CK holds it. And then you're immune for that one too. And then I don't know, but that's the thing, Rob. Let's say Parvati gets through this. We're about to talk about it, but even if she gets through this, she still has to now face the jury of her peers, and they can help or hinder her. And I don't know if she necessarily had the best relationships with everybody in the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, after the temple, we see that's a little bit like a final three dinner. Letty is so happy, and her and CK are talking, and they're trying to make conversation with David and asking David about his journey. And he's just like, yeah, it was like pretty much what I expected. Talk to them.
Yeah, because they're excited. Like, this was best case scenario for them. And so they're like having their final three equivalent like breakfast, being like, what did you learn about yourself? Like, what really surprised you? Like, doing it, you remember the time when we remembered the time? You know what I mean? Like, it really felt like they were trying to do that. And David just had, you know, his game wife just plucked from him in the game. Everything
widowed.
Planning for, he just lost his whole family in like 24 hours, essentially. Like, there's been a lot, and I think that this really showed, you know, how much he cared and how much he really wanted to get down to the end with Parv. And I found this like such relatable energy from David, where he just like he can't fake it. He's like, God, I'm so close, and now I have only me to help me, and I don't have an ounce of strength to bullshit these two women right now and be like, yeah, what a great time. He's pissed. He wants to go to bed. He's mad.
I need to go pack Parvati's things.
Yeah. Right. He said, but I just love that he was like, yeah, it was about what I expected. They're like, oh, okay. Never mind. Carry on.
Well, we're going to have our big final excursion, which comes up here, and we are going to have the battle between Letty, CK, and David. Draw numbers. CK, no peeking.
Ugh. Yeah, no peeking, because that will come back to bite her as well in this. What was the order that we land on?
It was Letty first, then CK, then David.
Yeah, this is fun. This is fun because throughout, Letty has been like the picture of morality, I guess, for the season, right? Like, I'm Letty and I only do the things and I'm blah, 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 blah. Like, so we're thinking, okay, Letty, you go first. You're going to be faced with some of your ghosts of the past. Letty should be all right. I think CK and David is where it gets interesting.
Yeah. You know, it was very interesting because I feel like that people who were on suitcases, they were always still on suitcases, right? But they moved the pairs around to the different obstacles.
Yeah. I thought they were going to switch like who was doing what, because it's like, I feel like having like the case amount is a big power. Like, obviously you can sabotage the physical part, but I think the case thing, knowing like you can ultimately just if you have a good relationship with someone and they know that you have their back, then they're going to literally just hand you the best one.
Yeah. And there's
That's
really
a lot of
two
power.
things going on here. There is the time that the fastest, the slowest time is going to get eliminated. And then out of the two people who make it, the highest case value is going to be who gets to face against the banker. And it was interesting. So that the cases obviously determine the money, but then the obstacle was really what slowed you down for the time.
Yeah, or the people, right? Like, or the people, because sometimes the obstacle is the person, as we will see with Seychelles. She gets her turn.
So good.
Like, I wonder how much time that actually took, ma'am. Just tell me you don't want me to win. I'll just stop. Like,
Yeah.
you just call it.
Oh, can I call something else out in this episode and tell me if this was a first? David talks about how this experience, what it's meant to him, and that it's going to be this amazing experience when he becomes the winner of Dondi 2. Is this the first time in Dondi history that the show is referred to as Dondi on the show?
No, XOXO Dondi Babe.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And also, they've been dropping Dondi all season, I feel like, at little points. It's become part of the vernacular. But I do see what you mean. Like, he was saying that as that was the official title of the show, which I personally enjoyed. But
Yes.
I definitely the XOXO Dondi Babe.
That's true. I forgot about that. I just don't remember having it said out loud on the show.
I don't remember giving our express consent that they can use what we have coined here. I don't care what nobody says. We said it first. We did it first. We did it first.
Yeah.
Like Ray J, we hit it first. Sorry.
You're right, Chappell. I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but
I was saying it.
I'm glad you did.
Dondi.
Okay. And Letty said it right after. Letty talked about how she was going to also...
They want to be us so bad.
She wanted to win Dondi. Okay.
Grow up. Get a life.
Cease and desist.
Get it.
Let's follow Letty, and she meets up first with Philip and Parvati. And Philip's like, here's the suitcase. Here's the briefcase. No problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Must be nice to
Yeah.
go and just know that someone 100%
She
has your
tells
back.
Philip also, please do not give a good case to anybody else. We'll find out if Philip lived up to that promise.
Yeah, she's been playing an honest game, but no,
Yeah.
not that honest.
I also didn't realize that the briefcases, like, they could give the best one to everyone.
Multiple people.
Like, I thought
they
when
reset.
it took one run through for me to realize, oh, it's the same numbers reset again. It wasn't like you've already chosen the top one so that like then the other people are going to get the middle or the bottom one. So I thought that was very interesting. You could just be like, you know, Oprah and everyone, you get the highest case and you get the highest case. That'd be me because I am such a soft bitch, as I say. Where I would be like, I want everyone to succeed. You all get the top case, unless you really did me dirty.
I like your way better though, Jenny. I want it to not reset. I want them to have 3 case values, and I have to decide which of y'all I'm going to give the value to. I get to decide, or you get to choose based on what I give you. Because I was looking at Dixon kind of crazy, because he gave Letty his top amount, and I was like, Dixon, and then I was
his
like,
island girlfriend.
But he also gave David his top amount. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Dixon, I was about to say, stand up, kid. What are we doing?
Yeah. But here's the thing. If they're going to give the eliminated players this much power, I appreciate that it's baseline. There's 3 values, and each player has the ability to make their own choice and not even listen to what they're saying. Like, it would suck to come down and, like, you know, be like, okay, well, I know Philip would have given Letty his top one, so I'm going for middle or like bottom no matter what. So I do like that everyone has the opportunity to, like, you know, try to outsmart the person, be like, okay, you're not going to tell me which one it is, but I still have the chance to get it anyway. Like, give them some ownership there. But the pettiness part of it is kind of fun too. So it's like hard.
All right. So So Letty meets up with Parvati, and then Parvati and Letty, they had been rivals throughout the season, but Letty says, hey, Parvati, I kind of did the Parvati thing. I kind of did your moves.
Yeah. And Parvati's like, yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
You did, guys. Seen it. Okay, I can use the credit. She helped her. I was very
That
surprised.
was like, and I think that was the best thing that Letty could do. Like that was a good Letty knowing her audience moment, because I think that she's been really like hitting this, like, I've played so honorably, like I am very loyal and I do everything I say I'm gonna do. And I think that, you know, Parvati loves like a little villain, you know what I mean? And so I think that for Letty to be like, hey, remember when I like eliminated Dixon? Like kind of like pulled a little bit of a you. Like, wasn't that kind of cool and hot? And like,
you reheated my nachos?
Yes.
Is that right?
And Parvati, how do your nachos translate to the bedroom? You know, Parvati's like, girl, go ahead.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, that was good awareness of the audience for Letty here, because if Letty tried to pull any of this honorable shit on Parvati, she'd be like, boo, boring.
Boo, boo, boo.
Yeah, tomato.
Okay. We got our second pair, Lachelle and Dr. Will here together. And with all due respect to Lachelle.
Don't you start with us. No, we will take you out of here.
We wasted Lachelle. We couldn't have put Lachelle on the monkey's fist. That we wasted Lachelle on the cases. She said the same thing to everybody. Like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, but Will is legendary.
Imagine Will on the suitcases.
No, I like Lachelle because she's like, look, don't pick that one. You know, just don't pick that one. She gave Letty, I guess, a little bit of help. She was no help to CK at all. I think she told CK, just follow your heart. Do what you think is best. I don't know.
It was an interesting place for someone who left the game really in a good spot with everyone. Like at the point that Lachelle makes a bad deal and goes out of the game, like no, she was not a target for anyone. Everyone felt good with her. And that was like the winning strategy for Jordan last season. Like there are versions of this season where Lachelle is our winner. And
Jordan would have cooked it in this competition.
Easy peasy.
Oh, she would. But like that's why it was really funny to have Stephanie Lachelle there.
Would have struggled.
Poor Stephanie. Amy being in the water with that plank. It would be done.
But yeah, I just love that like Lachelle still played it in the middle. She was like, I'm not gonna show she's like, the game is over. I'm not getting any of this money, but I'm still not going to show my hands. I'm giving a little bit to everyone till the final end, end here. Like, I'll tell you which one you don't want.
Like, it just would have been good monkey fist energy as opposed to the briefcases.
Michelle, like,
yeah,
but even good like ladle energy. That would have been fine.
It would have been good, but. Rob, if Will was on the briefcases,
no, we wouldn't have got the David moment.
We wouldn't have gotten the throwing of the plank, and like
it was iconic.
I'm sorry, I can't imagine this episode without it now. So
okay, and then we get Dixon and Seychelle, and Letty still got something over Dixon.
You don't forget your Dondi Babe XOXO. So
yeah. Now, did he screw his dad over by helping Letty get the high case?
It didn't help.
Probably.
It definitely didn't help. I mean, but he winked at her too, like, you could take this one. And she's like, wait, why are you winking?
What's interesting is that the high case that Dixon gives to Letty is $2 million. The high case he gives to David is $1.9 million. So the help that he gave to Letty was actually more important for Letty than it was for David.
Okay, so wait, the case amount, that's a good catch, Rob, because I didn't notice that part. So what was highest case in because it was different amounts at each station.
I think
right?
so.
They
yes.
the same station. Okay, right. I was like, well, then why did Dixon at one point have 2 as his highest and then 1.9? Different.
Because they swap them over. They switched them around.
I forgot about that part. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm less pissed off now.
I love Dixon. Dixon is great. When he winks at Letty, he's like, "Yeah, pick this one," and she's like, "Wait, what's that wink about?" He's like, I don't know. Just figure it out. I don't know. I was like, get her again, get her back.
He's a gamer till the end. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not gonna make it too easy, but also game respect game. And Dixon did say in his interview with us that he would have eliminated Letty. So,
but he also told you both at the end of his interview that he is happy with who the winner is.
Yeah.
And I think that he's happy with both of these people.
Yeah, with David or Letty.
Like that's the thing. Like that's it's his dad and his island girlfriend. Like someone's buying him something no matter what.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So let's go through CK. Okay. CK sees Dixon and Seychelles here, and
bad combo for her.
This sucks.
Not a good combo for her.
Yeah. So
although what was a good combo for her? Lachelle and Will, believe it or not, I think was probably her best combo.
Yeah. And so Seychelles invites CK to grovel.
Yeah.
Now, was this reminding you at all of Wes
of another
and Jesse?
Of course it was. Of course it was.
And it happened, and it turned out just the same.
Exactly. Take this. If somebody asks you to grovel on reality TV, is the right answer like respectfully no? I will not.
I mean, at this point, you say I've not seen this work out for anyone.
Well, when it was Jesse,
I've seen it twice, and I've seen it not work out either time.
When it was Jesse and Wes had to do it because Wes had just been on his high horse about how he would do anything in this world to provide for his daughter. The entire episode was just like, I did this. I would go to the moon and back. Okay, so you won't get down on one knee? That's crazy. So it's kind of like he had to do it. CK, at this point, you're like, nah, baby, I can't do that. I think it's on a case-to-case basis, but you really got to look at like, what narrative are you pushing here? Because I think Wes loses that jury vote if he doesn't do it anyway. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, that's a tough spot. Because you're like, what do I care? Like, I'm gonna get down on my knees, but perhaps the time that it takes. Because I was thinking this as well, like in some of the conversations that were happening at each station, I'm like, could you just like screw someone over by just like keep them chatting? Like the timer's going.
I think so.
I feel like absolutely. I feel like that was the biggest offense I thought for CK as consensual is like, yeah, get down on one knee, okay? And then while she's doing it, the time is
That's the thing is like you would probably just be better to not take the time to get on your knees and like kiss Seychelles' legs or whatever CK was doing. I feel like she was kissing her legs. I don't know. Maybe they added sound effects.
Wow.
The time that you save by not doing that, it doesn't matter if Seychelles helps you at all. That's time you can use to just get it done yourself. So I feel like beyond the like pride part of it, and it's like, are they even gonna help me if I grovel? It's like, the clock's ticking. I don't have time for this. I got time to say I'm sorry, and that's it.
Well, Seychelles is going to, okay, CK, get up. I'll help you with the thing. But all of a sudden, then Seychelles' back is tightening up. She's unable to help her.
Sometimes your back just tightens up.
Good luck, girl.
Yeah.
Suddenly. That was legendary. Seychelles remains a legend. Get her back on her TV.
Episode 1. Yeah. Seychelles for the traitors.
Literally. She's like the opposite of Parvati. She would thrive in Scotland. I'm telling you.
I think so. She gives the line that you mentioned, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
One of my favorites.
One
of my favorites.
It's a classic. It was perfect. And she's just dunking on her, being like, hey, like you asked for this, girl.
Okay.
Really
so then we get to Philip and Parvati. CK doesn't trust Philip.
And Philip called it. It's like when Will was like, y'all, we know CK is gonna take the money. Like, we know she is. Phil did the same thing. He tells Parvati, I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna tell her which case is the highest, because she's not gonna trust me, because she's gonna think I'm just as like cutthroat and like backstabby as she is. And lo and behold, he's like, here's the case. She's like, nope.
Locked.
Okay. CK was kind of good at the monkey's fist.
Yeah, she ate that up.
Okay. All right. Then.
Well, wait, Rob, because Parvati told her episodes ago, like, I don't really do well with throwing balls. So I guess I'll just do it alone.
Don't need your help. You're not gonna be much help.
Lachelle and Dr. Will. Lachelle is gonna show her the cases.
Like,
and Dr. Will declines to assist.
Yeah.
And then he felt bad for her and was like, fine. Like,
I kind of thought, what is he gonna do? Like try to like ladle some of that water out of the thing?
Well, I guess he was just gonna make her do it on her own. Just like,
yeah, I guess she was so far behind.
Yeah, he helped. He helped.
Yeah.
Maybe Bill didn't feel bad, and he was like, God, let's get out of here. He's like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Put this up.
Okay.
Good
all right.
to do.
Here comes David, and David now gets Lachelle and Will. Okay. Lachelle tells David, you don't want this case.
Yeah, what's for you is for you, she says, which is typical Lachelle, right?
He gets the high case here. So, okay.
Yeah.
He's got it. But Dr. Will says, hey, what show were you on?
Oh, man.
And David says, he answers, I'm the king of Australian Survivor. To which I ask, how many kings are on this show?
He's the only king I acknowledge. I'll tell you that much.
multiple monarch situation. No, I mean he's a golden god and a king. I don't know how the administrative structure works, but I support it. I co-sign it.
He might be the king of Australian Survivor for sure. I think
he might be the king of Gandhi.
Maybe we might see. We don't know.
I will say, I personally loved watching these two kings interact, and the playful competition, but like mutual respect. God, I love a little bromance, and I got like a flicker because I wanted these two to like each other. And obviously they were adversaries in the game. But man, what a delightful surprise this was for me, to get Will back on our screens again in this episode, and to see him interacting with David, finding out the truth, the game recognized game kind of moment. Oh, I love it.
But Will, why you have to do my boy David like that? He's like, David, what game did you play? And David's like, yeah, I won Australian Survivor the King. And I'm like, damn, Dixon can hear him in the other room. You know, he's like 20 yards over there. I'm like, I don't think we planned on this. I was like, David, whisper it to him. Like, hey, just let me tell him. God, can I be the one to let him know? Damn, crazy.
All right, so Will is gonna help David up until he gets the last plank. And what does he say when he throws it in the water? Like, Big Brother is better than Australian Survivor?
I think Australian Survivor is not Big Brother, or is never Big Brother.
You better believe it's not.
Yeah. I mean, objectively, you cannot argue with that statement.
Not the same.
It is not. It's about as long, though, isn't it?
Yeah, people like Australian Survivor.
How dare you? How dare you? I am held hostage by Big Brother every summer and have been for at least 20 years of my life.
But
Rob.
Do you like it?
I don't know the answer to that question. You stop yelling at me right now, damn it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm feeling very attacked.
I'll put it like this. I've never missed it. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
Big Brother is a toxic relationship.
It is. Yes.
Jenny,
so that's why the question of whether we like it or not is not a good one to ask, because we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
Stockholm syndrome. I don't know. It's not something I like to play with.
They say that's not real.
They say that. I'll tell you, as a Big Brother fan, it very much is.
All right.
Okay, again, me romanticizing a bromance because I'm sick in the head. When Will is helping David with the planks and they're like making quick work of it, I'm like, this is the hottest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I'm like ready to smoke a cigarette. Literally,
Yeah.
Chappell. I'm like, I don't smoke, but I'm about to. Like, I'm like, this is like the best. And then, you know, to make it even better, Will has to just have his moment to be Will. And it was enough that it didn't screw David. And it was just like a good moment. Like if he had really screwed David, that would have upset me.
Will said he
one
could
plank
chuck it into
in,
the ocean. Yeah.
yeah, that was fine. It was
Yeah, you saw him
fun.
with
It
a
was
monkey's
funny.
fist. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw him. He's good.
Yeah.
He helped David enough to where that little hindrance wasn't enough to slow David down.
Yeah,
too
he
much.
probably knew. He probably knew that he had like a couple minutes that it was like, okay.
Yeah. CK
you know,
had
let's
just
have
gone
a
and
moment.
taken an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. He was
Down
fine.
for the money at this point. So
He was fine. Okay. All right. So then Seychelle and Dixon have a warm welcome for David. I don't think we've really got to see Seychelle and David's relationship much.
No, but you wouldn't know it the way David was reacting. Just like, bro, stop it. You cut it out.
He's very good at this.
This is nonsense.
Okay. But also, would you not have that reaction?
Okay, but I love her. That's different.
Well, maybe he does too. Maybe he loves her too. And it just wasn't like, I mean, and she literally asks him, she said, okay, what happened? Like, you know, the family, like, why couldn't I be like cousin, you know, say, like, what happened here?
From around the way.
And so that goes to show David's social game that it's like, you know, people that weren't even involved in his plans, like, are just being like, hey, why didn't you pick me?
Mhm.
She asked why she couldn't be the side chick to the marriage. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's real. That's real.
Save
She's like,
him around
what
the
am I-
way.
Save him around the way.
Save her on the way.
Yeah.
She cousin or a side chick? Because like I'm like
Either one. Tag
Either
me
one.
in. It don't
Yeah.
matter.
All right. So Dixon asks David about his backstory, and he says, I'm widely considered to be the greatest Survivor player of all time.
he made
Now-
me
In
do
Australia.
that.
In Australia.
Yeah, how widely?
Like Australia is wide.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
Right. And then I don't even know. Like
Should I text Shannon Gus right now and just see what he has?
if you, it would break her brain to do a ranking, but she definitely. I don't think
because
she's
she
picking
hasn't
David
seen this
number one.
yet. Let me just ask
Yeah.
her.
I don't think she's picking David number one.
Random
How dare
question.
Yeah.
Me,
I've
the
only
person that
seen-
does not
in
watch all of
your
Australian
opinion-
Survivor. I'm very biased. I
I've
am David pilled
He's-
like to the extreme.
Who is widely
Before
considered
this.
to be the greatest
seasons I've
Survivor
seen.
of all time?
I've actually never seen David win Survivor. I've only seen his first season of Survivor. I was told that his second season was largely boring, and you know, typically in a boring season of Survivor, it's because someone just dominates and destroys everybody.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I could see that
Mhm.
coming in his
Yeah.
future. You know, maybe in the same way
Now-
like a Boston Rob or Kim Spradeline.
Rob, are you asking Shannon ever, or did you frame it
I just
in Australian Survivor?
okay. So she says widely considered like casuals or super fans. How do I answer that?
Girl, just answer the question. See, I'm
Yeah.
sick of her. This is why I don't
See,
I
ask
think
her
it's
nothing.
among
Yeah,
all people.
I think you
This
set
is
yourself
why.
up for this, Rob.
Right. Now you have to have
She's
gonna
like,
send
how
you a
do I
spreadsheet and
quantify
some
this?
documents. Right.
Yeah,
And then she's gonna tell you
she
that
needs
somebody should
time
have
to
came
run
over
the
the top.
number.
Okay.
Right.
She's like, let me make a chart.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to David with Philip and Parvati. And so this is really where the entire cliffhanger hangs on. This is the one case that we do not get in this episode. Philip, who I learned in your conversation with David and Philip that they actually were very close and they got along very well. And it was a bit of a betrayal from David to Philip. He doesn't really understand why he would do that and take him out of the game. And so is this a payback time, or is David about to win on Philip? I can tell you, I crunched the numbers here on this.
Okay.
So Letty got 1.8, which was the high amount from Philip. She got the middle amount from Lachelle and the high amount from Dixon, giving her 5.5 million. David got the high case from Lachelle, the high case from Dixon, and is now waiting on Philip's case. As long as Philip's case is over $1.8 million, David will win.
But do we know what cases Philip had at that point is the problem?
No.
And we don't know what any of CK's cases, because she just gets eliminated for having the slowest time. We don't open any of her cases.
But her cases don't matter.
But they do matter. Don't they matter in terms of trying to figure out like at what station what was taken, or am I
No, because they reset. They reset.
Oh, they reset every time.
Yeah. So
okay,
we know that Letty had the 1.8, I think, for the I don't remember. Yeah, Letty got the 1.8, the 1.7, and 2 million. David gets 1.8, 1.9, and
then mystery.
Yeah, the mystery. So he would need another 1.8 in order.
I guess I'm wondering what I'm trying to ask is there a chance, based on at what stage this was, that there is
like
a 2 million
like
case?
1.7. Yeah.
I do have an update from Shannon.
Okay.
She said Boston Rob, I think, on the weight of the casuals, Parvati maybe on both factors. Does this include Australian Survivor?
My God, we only talk about...
she was saying just she says here the fans would say David or George.
David wins. He said it. That's wide enough for me.
Wide enough. Okay.
That's yeah. I mean, I haven't even seen every season, and that's how I feel, and I'm glad that I'm objectively right. What a
Jenny,
great...
I need you to understand that David is on this beach wearing a leather jacket and a headband. Like he is a damn
that's
90s
why I
villain.
fell in love.
And his ass is a bad boy villain in a leather jacket on a beach. I was like,
I know.
Put him on a Mount Rushmore.
So Jenny coded. It's giving Justin Bobby wearing combat boots at the beach, but in the best way possible. Anyway, he's my golden god. He's my greatest in Australia. Sorry to anyone else from there. And maybe he's even richer now. We don't know. It's whether it's more than 1.8 million.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is we don't know.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that Parvati makes David spend too much time here?
I think the CK thing was just way too long. Right? They know they're playing.
They just knew, especially because she had already gone.
Parvati,
right?
I thought this is the guy you want to win. Like just like walk and talk here.
Yeah.
No, they must have just known at this point, especially because David goes last, and they know like he can only be eliminated based on case amounts at this point. So, have your little chat. It's tricky because if you're Philip, you don't necessarily know. It's not even like you can purposely make sure that David doesn't get enough to beat Letty, because you have no idea what he's gotten from other people compared. Like you might think like, okay, well, Dixon's gonna give him a high case, and Lachelle might give him a high. Like you don't even know for sure what they would have come back with from the other people. So you can only really play it within your own control there. So because that's what I was playing. I was like, oh, Philip won't let David get enough to beat Letty, but he doesn't know what else he's got going on.
Well, let's just work through that decision. So do we think that Philip gave the high case to David?
I think Philip told every single person what the high case was.
I think so too.
He told CK as well.
Yeah, Chappell you had a very knowing eyebrow raise.
No, that's the opposite. I am like, I don't know. In my mind, he just this is the high case, and David trusted Philip and he went with it.
Yeah,
but I cannot unsee Philip being like, David, I'm not going to forget this. We got famous last words from Philip when he got cut. You know what I'm saying? Why did y'all include that in the show? Unless to give me this moment of pause where I'm like, wait, did he? You know, did he forget
Yeah.
it? Did he let it go? Was Philip the one to say, like, I'm above all of the rest of this, all above the fray, and I'm going to be the one to say, like, nah, I'm going to stick to my guns? Or does he owe it to David to screw him over? Because you eliminated me, and you could have gotten rid of CK, who Philip does not respect as a game player. He's like, she cheated, she's backstabbed, she's done all the wrong things, and you took her to the end instead of me. That might give him grounds to say, no, David, I'm not picking you.
My thinking on this is that I feel like that Philip wants to have the moment like he had with CK, and I don't think she didn't get to open her thing of like, hey, idiot, I told you what the high thing is. You didn't believe me. That's on you.
Rob.
That's on you. You should have trusted me. I told you the truth. Now look at you. You blew it. Like, I think that's what Philip is hoping for.
I agree, Rob. I think that he, especially because he does it with CK, who he has the worst relation, even though, you know, David is the one responsible for him, you know, being eliminated. He had a good relationship with him, and I don't think he had a good relationship with CK at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he played it the same, but like he used the phrasing with the two of them about like, if you know, this is proof that
trust me,
if you trust that I was better to you in the game than you were to me, like that phrasing of it is, I think, important here, where it's like, and I think he obviously accurately knows that CK is not going to go for that, but I think that he believes that David would, and be like, I think David has guilt about what he did to me. I think he does feel bad. And now this is his moment. Do you trust me? And do you agree that I was better to you than you were to me in the game? Here I am being better to you. If
he didn't screw over CK, I don't think he's going to screw over David.
But that's the thing. He did screw over CK. He told her the right case because he knew she wasn't going to take it. It's not like he said,
but
CK.
That's plausible deniability. No. It's like, it's not, you're not saying I screwed you over.
Mm-hmm. But he knew what he was doing. He told
Parvati, knew what he was doing, but
he did.
I'm going
but that's
to
a perfect defense.
That she's going to push back against it. So I'm like, he didn't go in being like, CK, I'm trying to help you listen to me. He's like, she ain't going to believe me no way. So here you go, whatever. Yeah. With David, I'm like, a part of me, I'm rooting for David. I am. I'm sorry, I am.
Yeah.
I'll show my hands. I'm rooting for David. But a tiny part of me likes a player who says, like, if you screw me over, you're dead to me. And I will get my revenge. And then when they give him the opportunity, they get it. I'm gonna judge him a little bit if he does it. I can't give him the highest case here. You just can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't support it.
I question that framing, though. If you want to feel justified that, like, hey, you screwed me and I never would have done that to you, like, using that framing and then screwing them eliminates that argument. So I just don't know if that lines up with what he's saying. I'm not articulating this properly, but I just feel like because that's how he's saying it, it's not like he's just saying, yeah, this is the best case. Good luck. Like, he's using this like moral storytelling of like, I was so good to you and I'm going to be good to you right now, but you have to acknowledge that I was better to you than you were to me by you like believing me and taking this case, therefore me being good to you. I feel like that doesn't hit if you're purposely fooling them. So, and that's why I think he did the same thing with all three, but his message with David and CK was different because he didn't have the greatest end with them. But
see,
it's definitely possible. He could have just been petty. I don't know.
I hear you, but I expect more from my person who said, and I quote, if you go low, I'm going to go lower. Underground Railroad low. So low that Harriet Tubman's going to have to come. Like, you can't tell me you go take it that low and then be like, I took the moral high ground. I'm better than... No, damn it, Philip. Take it low.
I just don't know if he has that energy for David. I think he feels hurt, but I just don't know. I think that he feels better saying, I gave you exactly what you needed, and if you weren't going to take it, that's on you, brother. Like, I think that
you're probably right.
Like, I think that that's more what Philip would take away from this. We're gonna find out, but that's what I think. I'm with you on this, Rob. I think he gave all three of them the information and left it up to them, so that he can say, "Hey, I told you exactly what it is, and if you didn't want to believe me, that's your problem, not mine."
Okay. Well, we get down to our 3 times revealed. Letty had 9 minutes, David had 7 minutes, and CK had 13 minutes and is ultimately eliminated. Third place for CK.
Yeah.
What a run.
Eulogy for CK, Rob?
I mean, CK was interesting in that she was an equal opportunity offender. I feel like that she got on people's nerves. I feel like to me, CK was sort of like a chaos Cass type. Maybe CK is maybe interesting. You know, I just feel like that she was somebody who just got under everybody's skin. She was, you know, like I wouldn't say that she was like somebody you love to hate. Like I feel like that she was, you know, I think ultimately a villain on the show. I don't think that she was going for being a villain on the show. But for whatever reason, she would do something or other that really irked almost every other single player in the show. Maybe not Lachelle, but maybe Lachelle also.
Well, maybe Lachelle. Maybe Lachelle just never said anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think they're good. I think they're good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think that maybe there was like CK is not even knowing what she does. Like where Dr. Will, I think, and CK, I think are almost like opposites in a lot of ways, where Dr. Will knows exactly what he is doing to try to irritate his competition. Yeah. Whereas CK, I think, does not realize what she is doing that is getting under the skin of her competition.
Yeah, I think that tracks. And I think that explains a lot of why they clash so much. It's like they're never going to understand their type of play, right? So that, yeah, you know, two people like Will and CK were never going to be on each other's level. So yeah, I don't know. I think that CK was like, I can't imagine the season without her. You know, right. she was a part of and in a lot of cases responsible for some of the biggest moments of the season. I thought that there was a world where she was going to win. Like, I just thought it was like, you know, when she kind of falls back and, you know, we've got these two factions kind of going at each other. I'm like, this is very easy for her to just like fall into the shadows. And then all of a sudden, depending on what this final challenge was, she easily could have won. Like, just change it up a little bit. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of different challenges that she would have had a chance at. She said going into it, she's like, God, I hope it's math or probability, because she's against Letty and David, who she called Goliath and Godzilla. I don't know who is who.
Which is which?
I don't know. We'll have to ask her maybe. You know, she did have the deck stacked against her a little bit, but then even worse by the social element. You know, but maybe it wouldn't have made a difference. Maybe, you know, it was just like the physical component. If the third place being a timed situation, maybe she was just never going to be able to do it faster than Letty and David, no matter what, with or without help. Hard to say. But yeah, I thought this was a really impressive run for CK, who kind of made a target of herself really early in the game, and she was not safe every round. Like, there were a lot of times where she easily could have been eliminated, but people started, you know, setting their sights on other people. So you have to give her that. Like, she definitely like played a very big game. And she almost had it.
Yeah. And I think that a big part of the reason why she gets so far is I think that people wanted to go up against her in the final challenge. I think ultimately that strategy was rewarded as she gets eliminated here in the final 3 challenge, but it's not like a blowout that if she would have competed like in that final challenge from season 1.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk to her again. We've already checked in with CK once this season. And so, we'll get to finally have our exit interview with CK and see what she thought about the penultimate episode of Dante.
I'd love to look ahead to the finale, which I believe is an hour episode coming up next Wednesday. And so in the opening moments, I think we'll find out if David either is eliminated or is going to play the banker, which leaves us a lot of time in the episode. And I'm not sure exactly what we're going to see. We still have to play our big climactic game of Deal or No Deal, where somebody is going to win a huge prize pot. We also have to learn the identity of the banker.
Yeah, her and her stilettos.
Long may she reign.
Yeah.
I need everybody to it's time. You've had all season to think about it. Who is the banker? Rob, who's the banker?
I'm still stumped on it.
Come on, man.
I'm going to say Claudia Jordan is my prediction.
Ooh, that's such a good guess, too. I love CJ. I'm going with Jordan. I said it day one. I'm going to stick with...
Does Jordan wear stilettos?
I think she might. Now she does, and she's filthy rich. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going with Jordan because I have to dance with the person I came with.
Yep. Okay.
Jenny.
Here's the problem. I don't know people.
Boo.
So, but I will go with the crazy pick that got discussed early. I'm going.
Hello, Joe.
I'm going too famous. I'm going Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
She's also having a moment right now. She got her own show right now. Yeah,
I just think that I think that like you could at least make some sense of it. It is wild. It is a big get, but it's not the most random thing. I'm just trying to because it's like, I just feel like if it was a totally unrelated, really famous person, you'd be like, what do you have anything to do with this? Where at least there is a Deal or No Deal connection here that makes it make sense. And I think that would be a really fun result. And this is paying no offense to a previous player. I think that is interesting, but I think it needs to be like a big shocker, and I think that is a big moment. So if I have to make a guess, let's go with that. Let's go big or go home on that one.
Firstly, who are Howie Mandel's friends?
Heidi Klum.
Heidi Klum. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a name that got passed around too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so, do you think we get a reunion at all next week?
There's got to be something that we have to do, right? There's like meeting the banker, then like the Deal or No Deal Island actual game. That doesn't take that long. So I think everybody's right there. You can ask some questions. They're all going to be there.
Yeah, I think that, this was an incredible cast. A lot of big characters. So I think, we're going to have everyone back. And
do you think Boston Rob shows up in the finale?
He's there. He was doing all these, he's there doing the exit interviews like at the Ponderosa or whatever their version of it is. So I'm sure that he is there and is able to make some sort of appearance. I wouldn't be shocked if he's there.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll find out 1 week from now. We'll find out who the winner of Deal or No Deal Island 2, Dondi 2, who it is, who the banker is, and all of our questions will be answered.
Yeah. And then we wait on Dondi 3.
And we wait on Dondi 3. Yeah.
I'm so nervous. Yeah.
And then hopefully, we'll talk with Letty and David also. But in the meantime, check out interviews with Parvati and CK coming your way. We know Dondi.com. Jenny, what else is coming up for you?
Not a lot. Just finishing up these exit interviews. It's been really fun getting to talk to like I said, a really great cast. And I'm very excited to see how it plays out. And I've had, I can't believe it's ending. I can't believe we're almost there. Had a really, really good time talking about it with you guys. I feel like we went into the season so excited in the first place, and I just feel like it even surpassed expectations. It's been a really good time. Follow me on social media at Jenny Autumn, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll have some good exit interviews next week as well, as we wrap this up.
It's been a wild couple of months. When I think when was the premiere? This like January 5th or 6th?
7th? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. So we've been going. It's been a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
I think this started even before the traders.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I
Sounds
think it was
about
the same
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at us.
Traders been done for a couple of weeks.
As it should have.
And
All right.
and we know that whoever wins is winning a lot more money than they win on the
On the
traders.
traders. And not
Listen, I
sharing it
know-
with 4 people.
I know appearance fees. But I'm just saying these excursions and each week is a lot more exciting if we know
Yeah.
that people know they are playing for a giant ass prize.
You're getting
So,
some more bang for your buck on Dondi.
Yeah. Dondi's delivering, okay?
Mhm.
So yeah, very, very excited to see how that goes. Anyway,
Okay.
thanks. This has been really, really great. I love shout out to the Don Divas and the Don Deviants. You know I love you.
Okay. Chappell, what else is coming up for you?
I'm on Recap Kickback doing stuff. I'm also talking about Extracted with Mary. Talking about Australian Survivor, which is crazy because it's a great season. Great season of Australian Survivor. Check me out on all those places.
Anyone
Follow me
better
on
than
social media.
David?
No, absolutely not. Not this season. This season,
right.
there is not a David in
answer.
sight, and not for miles, not miles, but not for whatever kilometers. I don't know.
Kilometers.
You get a long way. Follow me at Recap Kickback on all social media platforms.
All right. And of course, check out everything else we have going on with Survivor as we get back into it with episode number 4 coming up on Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to read your comments as well. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.